everyone to the Unraveled podcast, where we have something to say.
We sure do. We always do, don't we?
Always.
I am so happy to be back today, and I wanted to be, this is our third episode, and I'm really trying to get into it and stuff and be more relaxed.
Yes.
If I'm honest, of course, I'm like nervous every time we start. I'm like, Cailyn, what are we going to say today? What are we going to talk about?
There's always a level of anxiety.
Always. And I'm just like, and then kind of just like talk. Okay. So that's what Unraveled is about. There's no structure. There's no rhyme or reason. Even though with us, it's always something.
Right.
Right.
So I want to ask, how was your weekend?
My weekend was actually very, very good. It was a Bay weekend.
Very good.
It was a Bay weekend,
What is a Bay weekend?
I was with my man. We actually went on a double date, which we used to do double dates a lot with you.
Yeah.
But solo, me and Shaq haven't done it in a while. So
that's true.
It was really cool to kind of get out with some fresh faces and go do something,
Yeah.
On Friday night, go get some drinks and just do your thing. So it was really cool.
Funny enough, we did the same thing recently. We went on a double date. It was new faces, new experiences, getting to know new people. I think that's really important right now. You just got to be open to people, open to new experiences.
For sure.
And just have a good time. Be positive, be open. Because me, initially, I'm always like, I'm doing what I'm comfortable with. If it ain't with my sister, then probably not doing it. But, it's been really nice to just open up, be adventurous, and experience.
I think my man, Shaq, for those that don't know, but Shaq be like, you always say no, or you don't want to do nothing. So I'm like, I'm really trying to grow, and I think the way I can grow is if it's something automatically that comes to me and I feel uncomfortable with it or something, I just say no. But now I'm like, how about try this challenge, Kay? He brings something to you, or just something comes up and you're not comfortable because it was out of nowhere. Just go with it and say yes. What's the worst that could happen? What about if you actually have a good time?
Yeah, that's your control issues. I would say.
I have a little control.
Mine
I have anxiety. I battle a little bit of all that, but the only way I think now I'm getting out of that is doing stuff that you're scared of.
Right.
And then I used to do something I'm scared of. Close your eyes while you do it, and then you're good.
That's what I'm like. It's okay to be scared, but do it anyway. That's always our saying. Be scared and do it anyway.
So we went to a brewery. It was fun. We went with one of his best friends, which I'm very familiar with him, but I wasn't familiar with his girl, and I'm always like, I hope I click with the girl, because it's I know they're gonna be cool. So it's up to me to kind of do the thing with the girl.
Right.
But I was so lucky. She was cool, and she actually was familiar with me because she went to the same school I went to. Granted, it wasn't at the same time, but it was cool to have something to talk about to spark the conversation, and then so we have some the whole night to kind of okay, I know you from that, so we cool. So it was cool. It was different, especially because I think where our relationships were.
Yeah.
We're 5 years in this year, and they were just 1 year in. Not that's just 1 year in, but they're still in the beginning stages, so it's interesting to kind of see the different dynamics, because I'm I know that feeling. Me and Shaq were there. We've been through it.
So her and her relationship, they're 5 years in. Me and my relationship, we're half a year in, but it feels like we've known each other forever.
Yeah.
But I was on TikTok, and you learn everything from TikTok, don't judge. And it was a video, and it was talking about the 5 stages of your relationship, and a lot of people are able to get through the first 2. So obviously it's the honeymoon phase where everything is all good and great. The easy phase. And then you get a little more comfortable, and the second phase was something now you start learning each other's differences, and it's learning to accept that. Oh no, I think the second phase was the power struggle phase.
Who's gonna be the leader of the relationship?
Right.
Yes. With us, it's the good thing is you can switch off. Okay, maybe you take the lead here, and I'm gonna take the lead over here.
That's what we do, and that was probably a difficult one for me because in my relationships, I'm just used to being the leader. I like to take care of. I like to make sure everything is going the way it's supposed to. But then when you have a partner who's just as headstrong and just as wanting to do everything and take care of everything, that's where that power struggle comes into play. And then, so it's just, like you said, learning how to let the other lead and maybe switch off, or maybe be like, okay, for this amount of time, I'm going to lead, and vice versa. Whatever works for your relationship.
Right.
So I think we're moving past that, and then it comes to, like, accepting each other's differences.
Well, with our power struggle, I don't think it was so much having the problem of who's going to lead where. I think I was just so controlling. I wanted to lead everywhere.
I'm glad she said it. I'm glad she said it, not me.
The reason I can talk about it today is because, like, I can reflect and, like, I see the difference of getting through that. So it's, like, really powerful today of where we are, because before, boy, oh boy.
So
that
speaking of your double date,
yes,
what phase would you say the other couple was in? Let's get you.
I think, well, because they have to deal with some heavy stuff. I think but they were still, although they're dealing with heavy stuff, they haven't gotten through the power struggle phase. So I feel like they're just like, okay, you take the lead on everything.
Right.
This one, whether it's him or her, you're just going to take the lead.
So they're not, like, working together on the power struggle.
Yeah, I think they both had a common goal, but it would be better if they were more on the same page about how they want to execute certain things. Whereas me and Shaq is like, I know he wants to do this way because I know him. I know how he's going to already think about it, and then he knows how I'm going to. So we talk about it before we do it.
I was just about to say, that's the important part, to communicate about it. Like, you don't have to read your partner's mind.
You're not supposed to.
Don't do that. Talk.
It's like impossible to read your
partner. Y'all gotta talk.
And, like, that's why, if I would say one of the most important things in being in a relationship is communication. Like, as silly as it sounds, as whatever you want to call it. That's real important. Of course, trust, loyalty. Yes, but that all kind of is like a given, right?
Yes. Like, if y'all not talking, then what are y'all really doing? What goals are you going to get to? Common goals are you going to get to? How are you going to build together if you're not even talking about what the goals are? How are we going to do this? What's the best way for us? So I think that's important. You
got to know if y'all got the same goals. Like, what if he wants to do this, and his perfect picture of how your relationship is one way, and then yours is like the total opposite?
I agree.
And y'all trying to work it together, but y'all not on the same page. Y'all don't have the same vision.
Right.
So that also comes along with communication. And what does your perfect life and relationship look like? And then what does his?
Yes.
And then how can you guys make it one?
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
And I just think it's very important to communicate overall. You know?
I agree with that.
What else do you think is a big factor in a healthy relationship?
I like the idea.
Or in your relationship, what works?
For me, is getting out of my comfort zone. Like, being willing to do something you're not super comfortable with, but you trust your partner, so you're going to do it for your partner. Like, going on the double date that I went on, I was kind of caught off guard. Like, I didn't know we were going to, it was like spur of the moment. Like, okay, let's go do this.
He was like, let's do it.
And I'm like, okay, so what's their vibe? What's it, you know, give me the rundown. And he's like, I don't know, like, let's just go.
Oh, so you do that too. You guys have your secret couple conversations.
Absolutely.
About whatever's happening.
I need to know.
But I think that's the fun part of your partnership.
But again, yes, exactly. Being uncomfortable and trusting your partner that he's not putting you in a situation that's going to be bad, but it is something where you just got to be open. Like, it can go great, it can not go not so great, but that's the risk you're willing to take for your partner.
And that goes along with like give and take in a relationship. Like, it's always about compromise. Nobody's going to win. Like, the only way you'll win is if you both win.
Yes.
Basically is what I'm trying to say. Like, you got to compromise, meet in the middle. Because it's like, okay, he wanted to do this double date with his friends. Okay, cool. Let's go to a place that I'm comfortable with.
Right.
That we've been to. So I think that also helped. Like, we knew the place. We knew what we liked there. So I like that. I got some type of comfortability in this situation while I'm being open to a whole new experience.
I think he compromised for me in this situation by saying, okay, we don't have to do, because I think previously the idea was to let's go out and have a whole date night, let's go bowling.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't really want to spend a whole night with someone I don't know. So the compromise was like, okay, well, let's just go hang out for maybe an hour, go do something light. We played pool and we just got to know each other a little bit and went from there. So I think it's, again, communicating with your partner, making sure they're comfortable, and where can we compromise so that we both win. And
it's not too intense, not too much pressure. Especially when you're hanging out with newer people, you guys got to break that that awkward silence.
Seriously.
Okay, I will say there was some awkward moments.
Same. There's always going to be, y'all don't know each other. There's going to be awkward moments, but it's how you guys push through the awkward moments. Like, what'd you do to push through the awkward moments?
Like right when we sat at the table, it's like, okay, we're all here. Mm-hmm. Now what?
What are we going to talk about?
What are we going to talk about? Because, yes, they're best friends. So they have always something to talk about. But I'm like, okay, what am I going to talk about with her? She's not my twin that I'm used to. I can have any type of conversation. So I was just like, okay, the neutral, what you going to get? What you going to order? Okay, but that goes dead.
Right.
Now what are we going to talk about? We can't talk about, okay, how we met. Okay, cool. Now what?
Right.
So I'm like, oh man, what do we have in common where we can talk about? So, I just went into some relationship stuff because that always works. How long you known so-and-so? Oh, where'd you meet? That's always a good icebreaker.
I agree.
Because I can talk about that
how I started
all the time.
Because it came to a point where, like, okay, we played our game, and then the guys kind of went off, and then it left me with this other woman that I have no idea about.
Yeah.
But, her energy's super sweet.
That
it was really
helps.
a positive environment, so that helped. Yeah. And it's like, the bottom line is somebody got to be the one to put themselves out there. Somebody got to start it. So I like how you started it. Overall, it was a great experience, and I would definitely be open again to being surprised with a double date, and I was happy about it.
Yeah, I would say I'm very proud of myself for putting myself out there, and just instead of saying no all the time, yes, babe, let's do it.
We'll see.
I know he probably was fucking shocked at me. But yeah, I'm grateful for the experience. We had a great overall date, and I'm ready for the next one.
Right. Thank you guys. That was a great episode. Again, leave in the comments how your double dates go or what you think makes a healthy relationship. Yeah. Or what's a good icebreaker for that type of situation?
Seriously.
All right.